Well, welcome again. We've now been through several modules. We just completed the module on federal courts and the federal government. I think it's very important that you have a background in this information. And in this next module, we're going to be going and exploring state government and state courts. And I suppose it's rather apropos that we do this at this point because, after all, here in New York State, we're faced with a real governmental dilemma. The state budget is several months late. It's affecting all levels of government. It is affecting the morale of state employees. And we're really faced at this moment with the possibility of shutdown of state government. And what does that mean? And so I think it's very interesting and appropriate that we find ourselves discussing this particular topic today. Few little items here. Remember, go to the learning module number 3, and then there's this is a two-part piece, much like the previous module. So you want to go to the first one and go to state government. You'll find a video that is 20 minutes long. I hope you find it interesting. And then there are several hyperlinks. One to New York State government itself, which has both the executive branch and the legislature in it. But more importantly, it also has the various departments. Now, this is a little bit where we're now starting to get into a bit of recreation. For instance, later on, we're going to talk about regulations, and certainly the New York State Department of Health regulates food service and regulates pools and aquatics. And so there's a link to recreation and leisure. There's the Department of Environmental Conservation, which regulates pollution emissions, regulates fishing and hunting licenses, and they also deal with wetlands and other open spaces. DEC has vast amounts of land here in New York State that they're responsible for. The New York State forests, for instance. And so we're going to look at the legislature and the government from legislation, developing a bill and getting it passed. We're going to start to talk about the difference between a law and a regulation, and how does a bill get to the point where we can use this in terms of regulation. You'll find in the New York State Government Part 1 your list of keywords and phrases. There's a few here that you're going to have to actually look up. What's the difference between a unicameral legislature and a bicameral legislature? Good question. What is a bill? Okay. What is the Freedom of Information Law? And this can directly affect you and your town or the county that you're working in. Okay. What about the Open Meetings Law? Again, this is something very, very important, and you can find yourself getting into trouble if you don't follow the regulation. Okay. The Open Meetings Law is really about ensuring that the public knows what's going on during the process of discussing issues within a town, within an authority, within county government, state government. That is, the public has the right to be there, except when they are in what's known as an executive session. An executive session is when personnel matters are being discussed. Okay? And certainly you would agree that that's probably something that's good, that, you know, whether it is a promotion or whether it is about dismissal. And so the Open Meetings Law is there to protect the individuals, employees, and elected officials, but it's also to ensure that the public has the ability to access and find out what's going on in government. Give you a quick example. Here at the college, many of you know that I'm on various committees. Well, we keep minutes of these meetings, and they're made available to the public online. And they're, in essence, in some cases, really, the public is invited, so to speak. They have the right to be there during the meeting, during the discussion. And so the Open Meetings Law, Freedom of Information Act, again, it's about being able to acquire documents that the government has produced on various topics, and usually the Freedom of Information law is dealing with issues that are controversial, that the press wants to know about, or other interested parties. Okay, and so we have that. Then we have the court system. And let me pull this up for a really quick second here. Let me get back here, go to Module 3, and go to Part 2. And again, you'll see some keywords and phrases. The criminal court structure. And you'll notice that in both of these pieces of the module that there are more hyperlinks. Okay, this is a good way to find out how your government is structured, in this case the court system. Okay, what is the civil court structure? Okay, what is the New York State Court of Appeals? What are Supreme Courts? And this is very interesting because in New York State the Supreme Courts are the courts of original jurisdiction, whereas we think of the Supreme Court in the United States or in other states as being the highest level of government within the state. What are the intermediate appellate courts? Okay, and so we're moving into some other areas that you may not have had a lot of thought about or even have knowledge of, and I hope we help you and inform you with this. And so we have this for Module 3. Of course, there's a quiz. I haven't at this moment constructed the quiz. We have a discussion forum, and again, I would really appreciate if you started discussing this earlier in the module time frame. Okay, it doesn't work when you wait till the last day, because you can't expect every one of the members of the class to have access and have time to comment on what you are saying in the discussion forums. Okay, and so that's where we're at. The textbook has a few pages in there that I want you to read, and I think we're in pretty good shape here. So I hope things are going well with you in this online course. It's been a very busy 3 or 4 weeks for me. You know, I spent a week at Plattsburgh attending a conference on instructional technologies that is learning how to deal with online courses and whatnot. Then we had a short week where it was a holiday, and then last week I attended a 1-week workshop at the University of Rochester. And so I've been very busy doing that and trying to stay ahead of, or at least keeping my head above water in the online course. I know several of you are planning to be going some places here in the next week or two. One of you is going on the trip with Ms. Vandermolen on the courses that's taking you to Fiji. I hope you enjoy yourself. We'll work out the details of catching up when you get back. And I know there's a couple of you that have also indicated that you're going on vacation. And so, like I said, we can deal with those issues. So let's get started on Module 3. Now that I'm not traveling in workshops, I will be more active on the internet and trying to answer your questions. Keep in mind also that once in a while it really gets hard to make sure the dates are right in Angel. You try and you look, it looks right, and then it's not quite right. So I think we've worked that out. And so I hope you have a nice week. I'll talk to you later.